This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, good morning, Tuesday morning, and welcome to another edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown, live on a Tuesday morning here in the South Carolina Low Country. I'm Justin Jarrett, joined as always by Wes Kerr, and we get a great show lined up today. Maybe not quite as great as the night that the Beaufort Eagles had last night, though. Holy cow. I was on campus. I got to experience the Ladies Island Magic firsthand, bounce back and forth between baseball and softball, and man, it was an awesome night. And we're going to have Javon, LIvingston, and Thomas Erdel hopefully joining us from Beaufort's Own here in a little bit. They've seen so much of the Magic this spring live and in person, broadcasting the game, doing such a great job. They were there for baseball last night. Terrific game. I mean, just epic high school baseball game, back and forth. Mistakes, certainly the good fundamental baseball, but mistakes are going to be made, and both teams are the kind of team who pounce on it. So when you have that kind of matchup, every little opening just adds to the drama, and they're going back and forth, exchanging the lead, and Beaufort gives up the lead in the top of the eighth, and then comes back and wins it in the bottom of the eighth. Mason Connolly bouncing a two-run single through the left side, Drew in the end, cut down the run at the plate, and Connolly found a hole. And man, what a finish there! And you got to go over to softball, where they had already started a rally and tied it up by the time the baseball game ended. They took the lead. Kylie Rash shut the door, and the Eagles march on. But then the biggest prize of all, the lower state championship for that boys soccer team. And, we were watching on the live feed from Waccamaw, which thanks so much to the folks who put that together. And I don't know what happened, but it cut out in the middle of the penalty shootout. We're gasping for air, looking for information. So, but the Eagles pull it off, and we've got some video that I'll throw up a little bit later from all of that. But, man, what a night in Beaufort.
It is the year of the Beaufort Eagle, and just an unforgettable evening. And you didn't even mention some of the other events that happened today, because how about tennis and golf also coming through with some big victories? Golf winning the lower state qualifier, and then Graham Angus making it to the state singles semifinals. So you could not ask for a better day for Beaufort Athletics. Just an unforgettable day and night to be an Eagle fan, and this magic is going to continue here at Ladies Island. Soccer team off the state championship game. Baseball with just an epic win to clinch that district championship, and then we're rallied by those softball ladies as well, also on Ladies Island. So the magic is still here. I mean, the tone was set from football season, winning that state championship. Basketball had an epic run to the third round on the boys' side, and the magic is just continuing here to the spring season. It has been an amazing year for Beaufort Athletics. What a day it is to be a Beaufort Eagle. And I'm sporting the green here this morning in honor of the Eagles.
Yeah, you are. You are rocking it out. I was going to see if I could get some of the video pulled up for us, but don't have it right handy right here. But man, what an incredible night it was. Gosh, where'd that video go? I had it right here. I'm trying to find the one of the baseball walk-off, because, man, it's a good one. Here we go. We're waiting on Thomas and Javon to jump on here with us, or one or the other.
I got to catch the very end of that baseball game. Man, I cannot believe they let it slip away. They're up 2 runs at the top of the 7th. I thought that Talbot was going to close the door, but Gilbert, they found a way to get a response late, driving a couple runs. But this Beaufort team falling behind in the bottom of the 8th. Once again, they rise to the occasion, and Mason Connolly is your hero.
We've got the whole at bat here. Connolly coming up. It's only like 3 pitches, but he worked out a tough at bat. They started the inning with a ground ball to short.
How about the bunt though by Talbot? That was gorgeous.
And then Talbot lays down a beauty of a bunt, beats it out. He's just trying to sacrifice the guy over, and he ends up beating it out. So they got first and third, nobody out. Talbot swipes second, and that brings up Connolly. And, you felt it coming, because they had the 9-hitter leading off the inning, and then you got the top of the order. You knew they could scratch across 1, but could they get 2 and close it out? And they had it set up perfectly for Connolly, and he jumps on one, bounces it through the left side, and we are off to the races. Look at Shane Monahan. My man is moving. He ain't moved this fast since he was in the bigs.
Let's go. Let's go.
It was hype. It was an incredible atmosphere. I wish a few more people would have hung around for the end of the softball game after the baseball game ended, because it would be great too. But just a terrific night on Ladies Island, and we do have Thomas in here with us. So let's get him in here and talk a little bit more about these Beaufort Eagles. First, Thomas, how do you pronounce your last name? I want to make sure I get it right.
It is Erdel, Erdel.
I got you. Erdel, Beaufort's own, and you've done a terrific job this year, man. And I know you had a blast, because you can definitely hear it in your voice on the broadcast that you're having fun. But how much fun has it been to follow these Beaufort Eagles this season? Not just the baseball team, not just the softball team, not just the soccer team, just everybody from football season on. It's been magical.
It's been pretty awesome. So I'm actually in my school's kitchen right now. I go to a really small charter school called Low Country Montessori, and we don't really have any big sports teams. So like I always say, I'm glad that I go to a small charter school, but I'm jealous of the big public schools such as Beaufort High, their sports teams, and seeing all their elite athletes at the 3A level. You mentioned basketball. I was a huge fan of Michael Dennison and Sully Gay during basketball season, Samari Bonds and all his highlight reel dunks. And unfortunately, I was not able to be a part of Beaufort's own during the football season, as Vaughn contacted me for basketball. But, whenever I got that text, like, I was so excited. Like, I get to watch Beaufort High basketball team all season long. So it was just, dream come true for me.
Thomas, tell me more about yourself, how you grew your passion for sports journalism and sports broadcasting, how you're able to get this opportunity with Beaufort's own.
So in fourth grade, before then, I'd never really been a big fan of sports. I had friends that were sports fans, but my dad, he watched football, but never really got me into it that much. But then in fourth grade, I started going to the Montessori school that I'm at now, and my teacher and all my friends in the class like football. And, my teacher was a Seattle Seahawks fan because he's from Washington. So I started following the Seahawks, and that got me into football. And I'm still a fan now to this day. Been a fan of football since fourth grade, then fifth through sixth, added baseball, basketball, and then, just a fan of every sport. I'll watch and follow every athlete. Doesn't matter what sport. I follow them all on Instagram and Twitter, all the social media platforms. But for sports journalism, though, my dad is a police officer, and he worked for a Beaufort Police Department. So growing up, when I was younger, I always wanted to be a police officer. But once I became a fan of sports, I realized that sports journalism, sports media is what I wanted to do. And later this year, I graduated in like just less than 2 weeks now from high school, and I'm going to University of South Carolina in Columbia to major in broadcast journalism. And I want to have that concentration in sports media. So I've known that I've wanted to do that since about seventh grade, and I know that's the school that I wanted to do it at.
It's a great place to study it for sure, and we would love to, be here to help you along the way, and whatever way we can, whether it's getting opportunities and having mentorship, whatever it is. We definitely want to help you on your way, because you got some talent, man. You've done a terrific job. I've seen you grow with the reps. Just like the athletes out there putting in the work and putting in the reps to get better. You're doing the same thing. I love what you're doing from a standpoint of building a foundation for a career in the field. I'm really impressed and proud of you, man. So great stuff. But tell us a little bit about last night. I was there bouncing back and forth. You were there for the whole time at the baseball game. It was a roller coaster, man. Just super emotional game, high stakes, down to the wire, back and forth.
Oh yeah, man. It was crazy. So it started off, Zach Talbert hit a leadoff triple for the Eagles to get them going in that leadoff spot. Then behind him, Mason Conley was able to get him in to score that opening run for Beaufort. And, at first, the Eagles, Davis Woods on the mound, he was rolling for them, had about four scoreless innings before the Gilbert Indians were able to put up a 5 spot in that 5th inning to take the lead 3-2. But, they were up 2-0 for a good portion of that game. And then once it got to 3-2, it was just back and forth the rest of the game. Obviously, going into extra innings, it was tied 5-5 at one point, and then Gilbert was able to take the lead 6-5, and Beaufort Mason Connolly, just clutch hitting by him, able to hit that walk-off double. or walk-off single, to score the 2 runs. And, I saw him get dogpiled at second base. And I'm really good friends. I've become good friends with his dad, Mr. Daniel Connolly.
Yeah.
So, give him and his son Mason a shout out. He was telling me that his son Mason going to be committed to Columbia International.
Yep.
And he said that he's going to get they're Gamecocks fans, so that he's going to be going to some Gamecock baseball games. So I hope to see him there, as I'll be attending University of South Carolina. But
yeah, absolutely. And here comes your dog pile right here. Dog pile. It was. You can't beat seeing a dog pile. It's just great.
I love the energy. I love the energy their team has. They've had quite a few walk-off wins this year, and to see Coach Monahan as fired up as he is in that dugout. It was a little testy back and forth. In the Loris game last week, he had some words with the opposing manager, and he did as well yesterday. But once it got close, everything kind of settled down, and everybody was just locked in, and you could see the exhilaration and the joy on their faces whenever Mason Connolly got that walk off.
Yeah, that's a dream of any hitter, to be the hero and to get that walk off. And Connolly, you mentioned, I believe you said, the biggest step out of his life for his high school career in that broadcast, and he certainly delivered there. So great call. You and Javon did an excellent job. Tell me about, what impressed you about Talbot? He has been an absolute warrior this year, and he showed it in this decisive game to move on to the lower state tournament. But 4-for-4 plate, that beautiful bunt that should be given so much credit to set up the Connolly Magic, the game-winning hit. But a couple strong innings on the mound, certainly, had some rough patches in there, but did enough to keep his Eagles in the game, and he delivers in the bottom of the 8th to set up the winner.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, I already mentioned he had the leadoff triple to start the game. And what impressed me in that at bat was he was down in the count 0 balls to 2 strikes, and then he just smoked it out to left field. You mentioned his pitching in the Gilbert game from last week. Obviously, he pitched 2 innings yesterday and was able to keep that game close for them. But last week, Malcolm Webb, the third baseman, he's actually a good friend of mine. He used to go to my school before he transferred to Beaufort High. So that's where I know him from. But, he had 5 shutout innings, but he left 2 runners stranded in that game. And Talbot came in, got 3 straight strikeouts. There were 0 outs and runners on first and second. He came in, struck out the side, did his business, came back with a scoreless inning in the 7th, and they won that game. And last I checked on Max Preps, I'm sure it's lower now with all the shutouts he's been throwing, but he led the team in ERA. Last I saw, he had a 1.54. So, I'm not sure who does the stats for their team, but it's got to be lower now at how phenomenal he's been. And, Wes, you said he's been impressive on the mound, also impressive at the plate. And that's just, his do-it-all ability for that team in the top of the lineup spot. He's just been a key cog in this Eagles team.
Yeah, he's a dude. He's just an athlete and a gamer. You look at, he's undersized on the football field, but he makes huge plays. He had that big interception. I want to say it was against Crestwood. I know it was in a playoff game to help seal it. He's just a gamer. He comes up big in big spots. And that was what was fortunate about that last inning, the 8th inning, is they had Malcolm leading it off and then the top of the order coming up. So they had a lot of confidence going into that at bat. You felt like that they didn't feel like they were out of it at all. And as soon as the door opened with Malcolm getting on base by the error, it was off to the races. And you mentioned that bunt, and I did play it once, but I'll play it again because, gosh dang, it's so beautiful. Just look at this thing. It is phenomenal. Here we go. All right, we got it going here. Talbot, look at this. He's just got to sacrifice him, but he lays down a perfect bunt.
Absolutely.
You got no play. Third baseman can't crash because he's got to cover third. So, you got to angle it toward the line, and he puts it in the only place they can't field it. I can't get him out. Just tremendous work. But
could not do it any better.
Yeah, go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, well, Thomas, moving on before we move on, I want to talk about, what's next for baseball. You guys are going to be back, I believe, on Thursday in the lower state tournament against Hanahan. So do you know anything about this Hawks team? Beaufort has played them before. What are you expecting on Thursday as the Eagles start their lower state tournament run?
You saw them twice, right?
Yeah, they got swept. It was for the region championship series, and they got swept both games. And if I recall, I don't think we were at either of those games. I could be wrong. I know I wasn't. But I remember they played at Hanahan, and I was not able to go to that game. But, just trying to get revenge was I was texting Malcolm last night, the third baseman. He said it's just trying to get revenge against Hanahan, avenge that season and series sweep in the regular season. That's the team they lost the region championship to. So look for them to come out swinging. It'll be interesting to see who they have on the mound in that district tournament. Game 1 they had Malcolm Webb. Game 2 Chase McKelvey, and then last night was Davis Woods. So look to see if they stick with those three guys, or maybe bring Talbert or Bauer Sox into a starting role there. But I'm looking for them to come out swinging, the bats hot, and try to avenge that sweep.
Yeah, I think they're crazy if they don't put Malcolm on the mound. I think you gotta roll with him. You got Talbot in reserve to go close it out and piggyback those two guys and try to get that first one. I mean, the thing working in their favor is I don't think Hanahan is that much better than them that they should statistically win 3 out of 3. I feel like they're close enough competitive wise that it should be a 2 out of 3 situation. So I think that works in Beaufort's favor, but they got to go up there. So that's going to be a hostile environment, to say the least. But I know you guys don't really cover tennis and golf so much, but I know you've been following along. And the golfers, how about the job they did yesterday? And then the two guys at the top of the tennis lineup, Diego Alvarez had a nice showing at the singles, and Graham Angus going for another state championship.
Yeah, so it was funny because actually during the game, I opened Twitter and I followed Beaufort High's athletics page. So when I saw the golf guys won the lower state title, I'd made sure to give them a quick shout out, and just it's so impressive. And Javon highlighted this with the athletic director for Beaufort, but all their spring sports, they're playing deep into the postseason, regardless of sport. They just have some great athletes.
Yeah,
well, let's talk about the soccer team, because we saw something special over there at Waccamaw. Eagles down 2-1 with just under 10 minutes left, and then Troutman buries a free kick, just put it right inside that far post, tucked it right in past the diving goalkeeper. Beautiful placement, and just a line drive kick. Took one bounce and into the net. Beautifully done there by Jack Troutman to get the equalizer, and then Eagles get it done in penalty kicks, 4-2. Some big saves from Nigel in that shootout to pick up the W and advance to the state championship on Saturday. What a tremendous comeback win for this Beaufort Eagles squad, and getting to see a theme there. There's just no quit when you're behind from these Eagles teams, and Beaufort soccer does it here. They're headed to the state championship game Saturday night.
Yeah, and you mentioned Jack Troutman. I know he's committed to USC, so for him to get that goal, that's really huge.
Yeah, here comes Troutman's equalizer coming up here momentarily on the free kick. It's a beauty. Talk to me about Troutman. You know him? I love that kid. Kicker on the football team. Just an awesome, awesome kid, and what a great goal there.
Yeah, so we've covered quite a few soccer games, and we were at their senior night, and they had quite a few seniors that were going to USC. But he stood out to me because he's a great defender, and it just seems like every time a defender gets past one or two of Beaufort's players, there's Jack Troutman just standing there ready to help defend that goal, just not letting Nigel Bell get in those one-on-one situations, and even on corner kicks, he's their corner taker. Has a lot of nice plays in the free kick game. Obviously, he buried that free kick for the equalizer. Just by far Beaufort's rock defensively.
How about Nigel Bell in that shootout? Absolutely clutch. Beaufort with a penalty, which was the game winner walking it off and send the Beaufort Eagles off to Irmo High School on Saturday. They will face Daniel in the state championship game. Probably won't start until after 8 o'clock because the girls play at 6, so it'll be the nightcap of the that state championship weekend over there in Irmo, but just a tremendous job by Beaufort High
Anderson
and
Jones.
Anderson Jones.
Let's go.
What a fantastic story.
You mentioned pure joy
been
earlier.
Their number
pure
one fan
joy
throughout this entire athletic year. Wish he was still out there, but just what a great motivator and just a guy that is going to bring that energy no matter if he's on the sideline or when he was on the field. Just what an amazing young man who continues to, be such a great role model for the way he's able to recover and battle throughout that process of just that tragic accident this past summer. And just great to see him being a part of this, celebrating with his teammates. Makes my heart so happy.
Yeah, and he's been at a lot of games this year. I see him on the sidelines of the soccer game for senior night basketball. Coach Huff had him out there, and he's just been a great motivator for all of the sports. It's good seeing him out there, like you mentioned.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Made my heart happy this morning. You mentioned pure joy earlier, Wes. Pure joy. I think that's what I love so much about high school sports, especially when we get to the playoffs. I mean, obviously there's a flip side to that. Every time somebody's experiencing pure joy, someone else is experiencing pure heartbreak. But man, the emotions
it's so pure at the high school level. I mean, for a lot of these guys, this is the pinnacle of their athletic career. This is it for them. They're not going to play in college, so they're putting it all on the line here in the soccer season, or we saw it in football, we saw it in basketball. That they're going all in, and they're giving 110% and making sure all of the effort is inputted to the success of this team, and just to see it pay off like that and come up with an emotional win to get to that state championship. It's one amazing feeling. And now the goal is to do it one more time. As Coach said, play until we can't play no more, right?
Yeah,
that's right. Go ahead, Thomas.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Justin, but Wes just mentioned, some players, it being their last game. Last night we had some parents from the Gilbert side come up to us and, thank us for recording the game, because he said his son was the starting pitcher, a senior on the mound. That was his last high school baseball game. So, it's a memory that they'll be able to go back and rewatch. And, the Gilbert team stuck around for about a good 20, 25 minutes, just thanking all their players and parents, because like we mentioned earlier, it was a phenomenal game that went into extra innings, and they lost just by one run on the walk-off.
Yeah, it was.
You were remiss to not mention that softball team, because another rally over there in Ladies Island, the Beaufort High softball team down 4-2 and rallied late in that ball game to stave off elimination, a victory over Waccamaw. Riley Brozick with 2 key hits, and then Kylie Rass driving in the go-ahead run. Eagles drawing 4 walks in the inning to go up ahead, and they're able to hold on for the win. So Beaufort High, the comeback kings last night, softball doing it as well. What a great team that is too.
Yeah, they're fun.
Being able to cover their games is very fun as well. Their third baseman, Alan Johnson, goes to school with me. And, we weren't at that game, and I know they won, but I didn't know the final score. So before I walked in here and came on here with you guys, I asked her what the score was. She told me it was 6-4. She said she had a hit. So, and you mentioned Kylie Rass getting the go-ahead hit. It's just very fitting. She's been the leader on that team, definitely the ace on the mound, and being able to see her put it together at the plate, get herself some run support during that losing streak. That was not the case. She was pitching great on the mound, but the bats would not pick her up. But, they've clicked right in time for the playoffs.
Yeah, she wouldn't want me to show video of her game-winning hit. It was a blooper over the first baseman's head that just barely got down and found some green. It looked like a line drive in the scorebook, but she was laughing about it on first base. But she would be proud of the leadoff triple she had to start the game, like Talbert. They both started it off with triples. So that was a rope down the left field line. Absolutely crushed. So enjoyed that team, watching them in person for the first time last night. Loved their dugout energy and hoping they can pull it off at Marlboro County. They'll have to win twice, but I mean, that one went 8 innings, 2-1 ball game last time. So I do think, in that 2 back-to-back situation, it's hard to ride one pitcher all the way. And I think Erdel Johnson is an awfully good number 2 for Beaufort. So I think they'll have a good shot to have enough arms to get through that slog if they can win game 1. So Well, Thomas, tell me a little bit more about your budding career in broadcasting and what you obviously you're going to Carolina to continue to hone your craft. But where do you see yourself when you come out of there? What are you wanting to do?
So just to touch on what Wes asked me earlier, he asked me how I got started at Beaufort Zone. I didn't really elaborate on that, so I apologize for that. So before I go into what you just asked me, I'll touch on his earlier point. So, whenever I found out that Vaughn had this company, Beaufort Zone, because I work at the Waffle House over in Shell Point, and he used to be the manager there.
Yeah.
And, I found out, oh, he has this sports media company. That's so awesome. That's really what I want to do. So, I asked him if I could do it with him because at the time he was filming semi-pro football games. And this is just last summer. And, he sent me a video and was like, screen record this and do your commentary over it. And I'll see if you're good enough or not. So I could not figure out how to actually I could figure out how to screen record, but I couldn't figure out how to get my commentary over it. So I was like, well, there goes that. But then after football season, though, he texted me, asked me if I wanted to do color commentary for basketball. And then the first basketball game I get there, one of the mics isn't working. So I'm like, oh, man, this is not good. But then he gives me the mic and says, just go solo, do play-by-play, whatever you want. So that was the Somerville game. It was the first game that I covered. They lost, I think it was like 86-44. It was bad.
Yeah, they didn't have anybody. All the football players
were gone, playing a 5A school. It was just Sully Gay balled out, but sadly they did not win that one. But so that's how I got started there. But you mentioned going to Carolina, where I see myself. So I'll get back to that now. I'm going to Carolina because, like I said, I've known that I wanted to go there since about 7th grade. Been a fan of them since probably 6th grade. Hart Cushman, actually, who's the center for that Eagle State Championship team. He's been a Gamecocks fan his whole life, and he was the one that got me into college football. So, Columbia is closer to Beaufort than Clemson. So those are some 2 reasons right there that I'm a Gamecocks fan. But, they have a great program for sports broadcasting. Alyssa Lang on the SEC network went there. She graduated, I believe, it's like 2015, 2016, very recently. She works for the SEC network. They have, I can't remember the guy's name, but they have somebody that works for the Washington Post covering sports. They just have some great sports broadcasting alumni.
That would be Kent Babb. Yep.
I say I knew I remembered his name, but so they have.
I know Kent from way back.
That's so cool. They have a ton of great sports broadcasting alumni. I just want to become one of those great alumni. And I'm a big fan of both ESPN and Fox Sports 1. I watch Undisputed with Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless, First Take with Stephen A. Smith. Sometimes, they have JJ Redick on there and Chris Mad Dog Russo. I'm a big fan of Rich Eisen, Colin Cowherd. And so my dream in sports broadcasting is to be like Rich Eisen or Colin Cowherd, where they have their own show on TV. They're talking in the mic. It's broadcast on radio and also on TV. So they're doing both at the same time. I just think, to have your own talk show like that where you can just talk freely about sports and all the variety of topics would be awesome.
Yeah. You can just create one for yourself like I have. But no, that's the dream. That's wonderful. Tony Kornheiser was my guy. That was the guy that he was a columnist at the Washington Post at the time and had a radio show and I kind of saw myself in that mold, and I still listen to his podcast today, and he's still on on his podcast and radio and TV and all that. So I've kind of tried to look at him and see the path for an ink-stained wretch who was left out in the cold when newspapers went into hibernation to find a way to find a path in this field. So and to do it here where I live and shine a light on the kids that are repping the Lowco. And you guys have done a tremendous job of that at Beaufort Zone. And I think that it's a great compliment to what we do at Lowco Sports.
Hey, Thomas, you hitting up Saturday nights, Irma, watch the Beaufort High soccer team?
So I know he put in the media request. We weren't able to be at last night's game. We got the permission to be there, but it was too late by the time he found out. So, lucky for us, the district championship was going on. Last night, very busy night for the Eagles with softball, the lower state soccer championship, and the district championship and baseball going on. So, we had plenty of games to choose from. But I saw on Facebook, he put in the media request. So hopefully we're able to go to that game. I believe I saw on Instagram it said it was the first time the Eagles have ever been to the state championship in boys soccer. So, hoping they can win that game. And got to see Garen Willis on the basketball team as well. Beaufort having so many multi-sport athletes. You mentioned Talbert on the gridiron for the Eagles. So definitely great seeing all those players in each of their respective sports. I know soccer is Garen's main sport, but it was nice to see him ball out in basketball as well. And, hoping for them to get the win. I saw Beck Schwerin had the hat trick Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully he continues that momentum.
Yeah, should be a great one. Been a phenomenal year. Would be just incredible to get bookends with the football championship and the soccer championship. And hey, baseball and softball still going too. Golf,
the more the merrier.
Golf's got a shot too. So man, it's been a championship season over at
talking
Beaufort
about
High.
a Carlisle Cup in the future too. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that last night. They got to be right up there, right?
Yep.
I mean, they've had a tremendous year. And hey, we got Javon. Let's get Javon in here for a minute before we go to break. Javon, what is up, man? Jumping in on us.
What's going on, everybody?
Yes,
How y'all
what up?
doing? Yeah,
What's
man.
up, man?
It's a great day.
Yeah, I'm good. I was getting hit the last second. Oh, yeah, man. Good. I've been excited covering these games for Beaufort High for basically this year, man. And it's been wonderful going full steam. Got me tired a little bit trying to get these games back to back with the spring sports and, the cancellations and rescheduling, trying to find another game. But it's been awesome. And Thomas has been a great help, as well as Alexis in the background. A lot of people don't know about her, but they see her at the games. Both of them have been basically amazing for me covering those games.
Javon, loved your emotion last night on the call. How awesome was it last night to be a Beaufort Eagle fan with boys soccer, softball, baseball, like golf and tennis doing it earlier in the day, but a couple of huge playoff wins back to back to back.
I will say this about being a Beaufort Eagles fan. I am Battery Creek class of 2012, so go
right.
Dolphins all the way. But I'm a general sports fan either way. So it's just been exciting with them. Multiple teams, vying for the playoffs, going for region championships, region records and stuff like that. And the emotion on that call at the end of the game, man, it was just at first. I don't know how much you guys watched the stream. I know I saw Justin there. He's back and forth between softball and baseball, but that game started off as really chipper, a lot of bad blood from the fans on, both sides. They were chipping around at each other in the background. Fight almost broke out behind us. We had to mute the mics for a while. So, but by the end of the game, everybody was quiet. Everybody was quiet, doing a little bit of cheering. Everybody was on edge, trying to, see who was going to make the next play. Just so many great plays during that game. Talbot on the mound catching that ball on for the out. It was just amazing. And so I just was overwhelmed by it all.
Yeah, it was awesome. And you mentioned the chippiness. I think that was mostly one guy who was getting a little out of hand. And coaching staff, Beaufort High coaching staff, football coaching staff came over and took care of that real quick and sent him on his way.
Yeah.
It was a very peaceful situation after that. But people just need to remember they're on one side of the fence and the game is happening on the other side of the fence. And you don't need to be talking to the people over there. But it was an awesome atmosphere. Yeah, it was an awesome atmosphere, though. Tremendous. And just wanted to talk a little bit more about your plans going forward in the next week. What do you got lined up? I know Thomas said you were trying to get to the soccer game. You'll also have baseball and softball going on. So what are you guys going to be broadcasting? We always try to broadcast as much as I can. If I can go 5-6 days a week without going crazy, I definitely did it. I'll come home, crash for 2 hours at work, and get up and go to another one. That's the backside a lot of people don't know about. We got games coming up. I know Beaufort High, got Marlboro County. We got to send the broadcast form up there. We definitely try to grab that one. Thursday will be for baseball, and then of course state championship on Saturday for the boys soccer, man. And I wish we could have been there for that one. And I was listening in, and I saw you guys tune in
talking about that game and how that game ended for them to be able to advance. But yeah, we're trying. They won Friday night. A lot of school stuff doesn't move on the weekend, so I had to try to cram and talk to the right people and get the request in, get it signed. They got a principal situation going on at Beaufort High, and the principal has to sign that form.
Yeah.
So had to do everything and finally get in contact, and I didn't get it till like 2:00, and to get there and set up and get the stream going, upload graphics, it would have been too much.
Well, you couldn't have missed that baseball game anyway. I mean, that was an epic. You had to be there for that one.
Yeah,
you had to be there for that one.
Yeah, the emotion on that one was definitely high.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey guys, we need to get to a break, but you got one more, Wes?
Yeah, just real quick. I mean, just reflect on this amazing year for Beaufort's Own and the growth that you've made as a company.
Oh man, yeah, this has been my first full year going just streaming games. Justin met me a couple years ago, and I was just recording games. Then I did my first live game, and I was playing around with it. He's like, "Man, you got to put this out, man." And I wasn't ready. I like for it to be perfect when I do it. So, but finally, I did a couple of games. But as far as just streaming, Beaufort High has made it a heck of a first year for me. As far as streaming games consistently all year round. So it's been awesome. A couple of state championships, region championships. It's electric games down to the end. It's been wonderful. So, and we got some more plans for next year. Tom is coming along on the call as well. So it's been great.
It's been totally awesome to watch you build it, because you and I both kind of got started at the same time, and we're kind of meeting and putting our heads together. Like, how do we do this, man? We know this area needs what both of us were trying to do, but we were trying to figure out how to make it happen. And it's been awesome to watch you, fight through it and keep building and scaling it up. And such a great resource you provide. And I hope others will, follow suit. I hope people will support it so you can continue to scale up and then broadcast more games, because it's been a lifeline for us when we can't get to games. So we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. I definitely want to continue to grow. I know you got to go to commercial break, but yeah, definitely want to continue to grow. A lot of people don't realize what that provides, and some people think about at the game, but there's a lot of people who can't make it to the game. Whether that some people parents work, and they love to be able to tune in. Sports journalists like yourselves, you guys go to multiple games, so you can tune in on one game. I know you gave me a little bit of direction on my commentary during football season to kind of announce the yard line for people who are watching it while driving and stuff like that, to be able to see that. And something I've been working on is trying to get my commentating a little bit better as I go. But it's a lot of people who message me, grandmas and aunties and stuff like that, grandpas, who finally get it to a game because it's nearby, and say, "Hey, thank you for streaming. We wanted to be able to come to the games, but we live 3-4 hours away, and so thank you for doing that." We send it to our family in Kansas or Alaska or whatever. So it's been great.
Yeah, it reaches so many more people and means so much more to people than you'll ever know. I mean, you'll never be able to hear from all of them, but it's an awesome thing you're doing. We appreciate it, and thanks so much, guys, for jumping on with us to help us break down this phenomenal season for the Eagles and for everything you do. We'll talk to you real soon.
All right, no problem, man. Thanks for having us on.
All right, we're going to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be back with more here on the Loco Sports Lowdown.
Hey, Loco sports fans. This podcast and all of our grassroots local sports content are made possible by support from community sponsors, including Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate attorneys of Loco Sports, and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Our original sponsors are still among our greatest supporters. Ryan and Tiffany Mickelson are community pillars who will be in your corner no matter your legal needs. When you need legal representation, call on the attorneys who support Team Loco. Call Mickelson Law Firm. Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, the official hospice provider of Loco Sports, and the only not-for-profit hospice in southern Beaufort County. For more than 30 years, the committed, compassionate staff at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry have been there to ensure your loved ones find comfort, honor, and dignity at the end of life. Because at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, it's not about dying, it's about living. Homegrown Home Inspections, the official home inspectors of Loco Sports. Jan Lucas and his team provide thorough, detailed home inspections aimed to ensure everyone goes into the transaction with open eyes and confidence. Jan would rather reveal an inconvenient truth than look the other way and provide reassurances that could come back to burn the buyer in the long run. If you're looking to buy or sell a home and need an honest, reliable inspector, call on Homegrown Home Inspections, official sponsors of Loco Sports. DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Loco Sports. If your business or organization has a website and you're trying to figure out what SEO is, you need to call on Denise and Dave Sinkovich at DDS Web Design. They'll provide a free consultation and do all the behind-the-scenes work to boost your search engine optimization and get your website found online so you can take your business to the next level. DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. American Wood Reface, sustaining sponsors of Lowco Sports. Does your kitchen need a facelift? Before you start picking out new cabinets, give Ben and the team at American Wood Reface a shot. They can reface your existing cabinets to overhaul your aesthetic without the hefty price tag and reimagine your kitchen at a price point you can manage. Be sure to tell them Lowco sent you, because every referral helps support Lowco Sports. 4M Metals, sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports. Got metal? Your roof might need it. Metal roofing advantages include better energy efficiency, weather protection, longevity, a more aesthetically pleasing design, and the product is all green. So if you've been thinking about a new roof, go metal. Let 4M Metals be the difference in your roof. Jay's Barbershop. It's the talk of the town and the place to be in Ridgeland. If you need your ears lowered, head over to Jay's for a fresh cut and great conversation with good folks. And tell them Lowco sent you. Local Pie, official pizza sponsor of Lowco Sports. They sling some of the best pies in the Lowco, and my kids say the mac and cheese is the best around. Hungry? Hit up Local Pie, longtime supporter of Lowco Sports. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry, the official floor cleaners of LowcoSports.com. If your feet tell you your floors need cleaning, call on Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry. They provide residential and commercial services, including cleaning carpet and area rugs, tile and grout, upholstery, curtains and drapes, mattresses, and more. But most importantly, they'll get those floors so clean, your feet will thank them. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry. Hilton Head Prep is a sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports, and we tell you all about the Dolphins' athletic exploits. But did you know it's also the #1 ranked private K-12 school in Beaufort County and ranks in the top 2.5% of schools nationwide? Visit hhprep.org to see what Hilton Head Prep has to offer. Beaufort Academy is a sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports, and we love covering the Eagles. With a student-to-faculty ratio of 7-1 and an average class size of 14 students, Beaufort Academy could be just the educational solution you're looking for, with more one-on-one attention. BA has a strong history of working with the whole child to prepare each student for college and life. Check them out at BeaufortAcademy.org. Thank you to all of our sustaining and supporting sponsors for their support of LowcoSports.com. Go Lowco! All right, Wes, back here on the Lowco Sports Lowdown. Justin, Jarrett, and Wes Kerr, and great stuff with Javon and Thomas. Really impressed with Thomas. I mean, a high school student with the chops he has on the mic is he's got a bright future ahead, and so does Javon. I'm like I said, I'm so proud of that guy and sticking with it. His resilience to keep building this thing and believing in it, and I think he's on to something really good. So we talked a lot about Beaufort High School. It warranted it. There was a lot to talk about, but we do have to talk about some other stuff. We have other teams still playing, Wes. So let's get into some other spring headlines. Starting with the Skeeza girls soccer playoffs, which kicked off last night, and it was a great night for the Lowco. Patrick Henry won in 2A, 1A girls, and then it was a clean sweep for our 3-team region in the 3A bracket with Hilton Head Christian, the two-time defending champs, knocking off #1 seed Shannon Forest 4-1. Hilton Head Prep won 10-0, and JP2 won 6-0. That sets up a semifinal that should probably be a championship match. It'll be their 4th meeting. The first one didn't count, and even though Hilton Head Prep won it, and then they played again in Prep 1, and they played again in Prep 1 2-1, and now they play again, and the winner will go to the state championship game against either Hilton Head Christian or Christian Academy Myrtle Beach.
On over there, Hilton Head Prep, NC Pines, the afternoon special between Hilton Head Prep and JP2. All those means have been so close, so competitive, and I'm looking at this JP2 team as a group that could very well pull off the stunner. I mean, Hilton Head Prep has been the better team one year, but in a one-game playoff, it is up for the grabs, and we've got some exceptional talent on both those teams, and I'm really excited to see how it finishes at the end. But two great sides. I'm looking at Trinity Grace Maxwell is going to be the difference maker for JP2. She has been outstanding goal. Had a couple games of double-digit saves. If she gets hot, she gets rolling against that Hilton Head Prep team and makes a couple big stops. there's no way that JP2 couldn't pull off the big win on the road and knock out the Dolphins. So could very well have another Lowco on Lowco state championship game. Hilton Head Christian Academy can take down Myrtle Beach Christian, which is a rematch of the last 2 state championship games. Hilton Head Christian Academy winning 3-0 this past year. And, I got to brag a little bit myself. I called that on Lowco FC.
You absolutely did.
Sunday. I was like, there's no way Abby Peduzzi and company is gonna fall short in the first round of this 3A girls playoffs. They just know how to get it done come postseason time. And I just knew that group as a whole, her leadership, they're going to step up and pull off the upset on the road. And now they're you can't, all bets are off now. They could definitely keep surprising us, and we'll see what happens if they those rivalry games. You can throw whatever happens before out the window if you get another Hilton Head Prep Hilton Head Christian Academy game. So I like Prep. I think they're the favorites, but not by much. JP2, they've got the talent, they've got the goalkeeping to steal it. So really excited for what should be a great soccer match on Wednesday in Sea Pines.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be awesome. Risa McMillan straight up said, like, Skiza messed it up. This should have been the championship game. But I mean, I don't know how you
at home. It's as a Hilton Head resident.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'd rather have that one decided right here than having to go to Columbia to watch them play each other. That seems kind of silly. But let's go. They probably would have played that game locally anyway. Maybe at Hilton Head Christian. I don't know. But that's 3A. 2A girls. Beaufort Academy will face Patrick Henry again, and then Cambridge Academy against Holy Trinity. So we could get an all Lowco final potentially in the 2A. 1A as well. We'll have an all Lowco semi and could have an all Lowco final. And then the boys get started tonight. 1A, Holy Trinity's got a bye, so we don't have action until Thursday. 2A, you've got BA hosting Marlboro tonight to try to go against number 1 seed Christian Academy Myrtle Beach. And then 3A boys, we got Hilda Christian at Oak Brook and JP2 at home against Florence Christian tonight. I think JP2 should handle that one, but then that game against Oak Brook, that's another semifinal matchup worthy of being a final.
Yeah, no, there's some quality teams that are going to be playing each other in this semifinal round, and sometimes it's just the way it goes. It's hard to sometimes see the teams correctly where you have the best matchup. You see that across all the sports. You see like, oh, this was the real championship game. I mean, it happens all the time, but you just got to beat the teams in front of you. That's all you can do, and sometimes the hardest test is the one before the last one. So.
Right. Well, it's like, I mean, 4A girls soccer, you kind of knew that it was going to be Beckham and James Island in the lower state final.
Most of the time in lower state tennis, I mean, everyone knew that the Myrtle Beach Hilton High winner was going to win the state championship because they were heads and shoulders of everyone else. So. Yeah,
absolutely. So there's your soccer update on Skiza soccer. Skiza baseball still going on, but we are down to just one team now. Hilton Head Prep out last night. So Charlie Sauls and Patrick Henry, the only Skiza baseball team still going.
And Hilton Head Prep nearly pulled that one out. They had a chance to tie it. Tying run was on second in a 5-3 game. They're down 5-1 and popped out the second base. But I'll tell you where the game swung early on. Prep had the bases loaded. They're down 2-1, and the second baseman for Carolina Academy made a sensational diving catch on a pop-up that looked like it was going to drop. And if it dropped, you're going to score at least one run, maybe more. Still a chance to add on. So that was a huge swing play early in that game. Unfortunately, shifted away from Prep, and just too many mistakes. Name of the game. You can't make multiple errors in a postseason elimination game like that. And just unfortunately, those mistakes end up being the difference in the game.
Can't give them free bases. Can't give them extra outs. It'll come back to haunt you every time. But Wade Hampton also went down last night. Heck of a fight, 5-4 at Sherrah in game 1. They were trying to force a winner-take-all game. But Patrick Henry rolled on. Charlie Sauls, another complete game. They win 6-2 in game 1 at Dorchester. They'll be at home on the farm tonight trying to close it out. And with a win tonight, they would move on to the Skiza 2A State Championship Series, where I expect them to be. So, but, they got to win one more. So that last one can be the hard one to get. This will be at the farm tonight. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Should be good. Should be in good shape. And they only used one dude last night. So it's all hands on deck. whoever you got to use to get through this one. So, and then on the golf front, we mentioned the Beaufort boys golf team winning that 3A title. Bluffton boys golf also qualified for the state meet in 4A. They finished 5th at the lower state qualifier. Brady Sacha with a 79. Our man. Wow. 75 for Jones Saylor, 79 for Brady Sacha. And then Thomas Ford from Hilton Head shot 74, and Landry Williams from May River shot 78. They both qualify as individuals. So solid outing for the Lowco golfers. Sacha.
Yeah, heck of a performance, 79, breaking 80 and putting up a big score or a quality score at a big-time part of the season in the lower state qualifiers. So congrats to Bluffton, Jones Saylor with a nice 75. So heck of a performance by those two and really the entire team, all shooting quality scores to get yourself into the state championship. And then you mentioned Ford and Landry Williams of Hilton High and May River respectively qualifies individuals. That's kind of cool. I mean, sometimes the team doesn't find a way to do it collectively, but individuals who put up good rounds get a chance to shine themselves. So that's cool. You get those chances individually to make a name for yourself. And congrats to the Bobcats as they get ready for state championships, which next week.
Yeah. Next week should be Monday, Tuesday. I want to say it's in Florence, but I may have that mixed up. It's hard to keep track of all that stuff. My spring sports brain is addled at this point.
Then I think we just glossed over it, but Graham Angus going to the Final Four. And I think they're probably in progress right now over there for the state singles in day 2. But he took down Cole Singletary of Pamplico, Peter Smith of Woodland, and Alex Lozano of Oceanside. He had a chance to avenge his teammate today, Diego Alvarez, who lost to Luke Skillman of Oceanside Collegiate. That's the semifinal matchup, and if he wins there, he'll get either Garrett Brooker or Logan Tomaboski of Waccamaw in the final.
Yeah, so we'll update you on that on Friday's show for sure. We'll know by then if Graham can be back-to-back state champ in the state singles tournament. And we've got some basketball news as well, some recruiting news. Michaela Washington signed her letter of intent the other day to play at Limestone University. Great landing spot for her. D2 will be a rival, I believe, of her friend Talia Hayward at Coker. I think they're in the same conference, aren't they? So that should be fun. And then Tamaya Hutchinson picked up an offer from SC State. Tamaya is one of those kind of tweeners. We weren't sure if the D1 offers were going to come for her or not just because of the size. But man, she's a dynamic player, and I think SC State is wise to put an offer out to her. She's still got another year at Hilton Head Christian Academy, and she's going to be a good player for somebody somewhere. It's got to be the right system now because she's not necessarily going to fit everywhere. But if you want a dynamic playmaker with the ball in her hands, Tamaya fits the bill.
Yeah, the speed, athleticism, and just the finishing ability for Tamaya Hutchinson. We saw it on full display all year long for those HHC Eagles. Special player with the ball in her hand. She can do a lot of good for her team with her mechanics on the court and just that overall dynamic play that you mentioned. So it's really fun to watch Tamaya do her thing over HHA. Still has more year left, and congrats to Michaela Washington. The cool thing is I've been here a few years now, and I've been able to follow her entire career from freshman year now to her senior season just to see her develop. She's been an excellent shooter, but she's developed into more of that as a nice playmaker, ball handler, passer. So I'm excited to see what she does over at Limestone, and sign me up for that game potentially between Washington and Talia Hayward. It would be a fun one to see fellow Lowco teammates go up against each other at the college level.
Yeah, that would be fun. They're both Talia is very demonstrative and emotive, and she cracks me up. Michaela's kind of stone cold. She's kind of got that stone cold killer. She's got the poker face out there, but she can definitely light it up. So looking forward to seeing her get to play at the next level. And I know more offers are coming from Maya as well. Talking a little bit of football, Hampton County Hurricanes. We hyped you up for them. I got to see some of those guys the other night and talk with some of the Erdel guys. And they're excited about how everything's going with the transition over. And everybody agrees it's weird to see blue helmets at Wade Hampton, but it's a good look. And they released their first schedule. They've got a pretty challenging slate, but I think they're going to be battle tested by the time they get to those 2A playoffs.
Yeah, a couple of Lowco squads on tap. Their inaugural game will be at Colleton County, and their home opener will be against Emerald on September 1st, week 2 of the upcoming season. Love the logo, love the dark blue, the light blue lettering on the HG for the Hampton County Hurricanes. I am pumped up for this fall and to see this team take the field for the first time. Going to be a challenging schedule, playing a lot of 4A teams, Colleton County, Hilton Head. Then you got some rivalries going into region play. I mean, that's going to be a tough region. Woodland, Edisto, Barnwell. Those are some quality teams over there. But you get some strong squads to go up against. Hilton Head, you get that 4A town over there. BJ Payne always building a tough team together. Brooklyn Casey before they get into the region. So really excited about that, and gonna be a fun first season for Hampton County. Certainly some growing pains to be expected, but gonna be cool to see those blue helmets and those jerseys up there playing for the Hampton County Hurricanes first year.
Yeah, they're gonna have to buy a lot of blue paint, paint over all that red up there, because it's been red for a long time, but it's turning blue. Paint it blue and let's roll it out in the fall. It's going to be fun for sure. I think Rob Hanna is doing a terrific job there.
They've got some talent for
coach
sure.
And the AD, and he's got a good coaching staff in place. Bringing in Chris Myers was really big. I'm excited to see what they can do, and you better play some 4A teams, because you got to play Oceanside in the playoffs, and they're basically a 4A team. So you better be battle tested by the time you get there, and Hannah knows that. They're going for bear. They're loaded for bear this year. They're going for all of it, and it's going to be fun to watch. But all right, Wes, let's give some Lowco shout outs and look ahead to what we're going to do over the next few days, and then we'll get out of here and call it a day. Who you want to shout out tonight or today?
Well, I'm wearing the green shirt, so I'm going to go all Eagles here. And for my first Lowco shout out, let me load up my notes here, but I'm going to go with the walk-off hero, Mason Connolly, with the game-clinching single just past to reach the infielders on the left side, and just poked it through there with the infield in. Tremendous job, good contact, hit hard, and right where it needed to be to finish the job and drive in those 2 runs. Could give it to Zach Talbert. He was sensational, 4 for 4. He probably deserves it with the way he pitched and the way he hit. But I'll give the credit to the hero, the one who finished the job, Mason Connolly. But you could definitely have easily gone with Talbert there for that side, and then I'll go with the goalkeeper that was the brick wall in the shootout to seal it for the Beaufort Eagles, heading over to the state championship. Man, just love seeing the emotion from that team, but just a heck of a job there. You could probably give it to Troutman as well. I'll split it between, you can give one if you want, but I'll give it to Nigel. Nigel making the big save in the shootout to close it. But it was a team effort. I mean, the defense was solid, especially to keep Beaufort in it midway through this game. And then, Bryce DeFilippis and Jack Troutman with the goals for the Eagles, and Troutman just icing his veins on that free kick to tie it. Couldn't have hit any better. It was just, slotted right inside that far post. Goalkeeper maybe a little bit late off the kick. Couldn't quite get to it, dove, but it was tucked right inside that far post. Just beautiful from Jack Troutman, and then Nigel gets done the PKs.
Yeah, I think somebody had him. I think he must have been screened, because he didn't see it until late. You could tell he reacted late, and he must have been at just around the wall where he was screened off and couldn't see it coming. Because you're right, he seemed like oh there it is, like it just slipped in there. It looked like it was going wide, and man, that was a great shot from Jack. Wonder goal. So gosh, who do you give all the shout outs out to? So many to give. I got to give one to Charlie Sauls, because that dude has just been a dude. You talk about a workhorse. He gives you a complete game every time, and he doesn't lose. Like, it's unreal to have game one in the bank and know that you're going to have a fully staffed pitching staff to go into game two. So got to give him some love. As a team, I got to give that Hilton Head Christian girls soccer team some love. I mean, we knew, you called it. We knew that they were not going to be an easy out. That group of girls does not take losing kindly, and they were not going to go on the road and lay down. They were going to fight, and absolutely still going to be a problem. Like, they're still the champs till somebody beats them in the playoffs. So not counting them out at all. Got to give them some love. And then, gosh, so many people from that baseball game. You shouted out Talbert and Connolly. We talked a lot about them. So I'll give some to Kylie Rast because they tried to not pitch her last night. Adeline did fine, but they fell behind, and so they couldn't let the hole get any deeper, and they had to turn to Rast, and she came in and shut the door and gave them a chance, and they put the rally together. And like I said, her game-winning hit was not the most impressive stroke she's ever had, but it found a spot of green and got the run home, and that's all that really matters.
Counts on the same.
They got the W, and that's right. Line drive in the scorebook and on to the next one. That's all that matters, and they'll go try to win 2 at Marlboro County on Thursday or on Wednesday, and I think they've got a shot. I really do. I think they're made of the right stuff to go get it done. So hope they can pull it off. But looking forward to the rest of this week. I mean, it's coming down to it. We could be done with most everything except like the state track meet and a couple other little lingering things by the end of the weekend. So it's coming to a close really, really quickly.
Yeah, but this week is going to be amazing. We've got, of course, a couple soccer teams compete for state titles, baseball. Patrick Henry trying to book their spot in the championship series. So a lot on the line these next few days. I'm excited over there to Hilton Head Prep for JP2 and the Dolphins take it to the soccer field Wednesday afternoon. Going to be a fun one. Lowco on Lowco. It doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, it does not get any better than that. Where are you going tonight? You going somewhere tonight?
Well, I would love to go over to the farm if we can get a ride from maybe, I don't know if Ned's going
roll out to the farm. Yeah, that might be a possibility. We might get out to the farm. I'm also thinking about Colleton County softball. I'd like to go see them as well. So a couple of places in play tonight. You got May River softball at Hartsville, Westwood at Colleton County. On the baseball side, Dorchester at Patrick Henry. Boys soccer, Florence Christian at John Paul II, Hilton Head Christian at Oakbrook Prep, Marlboro Academy at Beaufort Academy. So busy Tuesday night, and it's winner take all in most every one of those games. So going to be good stuff, and we'll be out there. Follow us on Twitter. We'll let you know what we're seeing out there. Hit us up, tag us with your updates from the games you're at. Turn that phone sideways, get us a little bit of video. Maybe we'll throw it on last night in the Lowco tomorrow and help shine a light on those kids. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Lowco Sports Lowdown. Thanks so much to Thomas Erdel and Javon LIvingston from Beaufort's Own jumping on to talk Beaufort Eagles with us and for everything they do covering sports here in the Low Country. And thanks, of course, to our sponsors for making it possible and to all of you who show up to listen and watch. For Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Lowco.
The Lowco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Lowco.